your time has come. A pretty yellow bird fly away into the sun.
All right, 23 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I sometimes feel like part of our job, Robin, is to make people happy, make people laugh anyway. And I don't know that laughter necessarily makes you happy, but I do think sometimes it distracts you from something that may be weighing on your mind, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm a very difficult person to really grasp. It's very difficult for me to really grasp what depression is. I honestly don't think God gave me that. I've been sad, when my dog died, I was really sad, but it didn't take over in my life, and my father died, my mother died. I went through the thing people normally go through, but typically in my life, if something's bumming me out, I take a nap and I'm fine.
Yeah, right.
And I know that sounds like I'm just trivializing it, and I'm not, because we've known people who were considered clinically depressed, right? And it was clearly something different than I've ever experienced. Susanna Mittermaier is on the phone. She's a licensed clinical psychologist, a psychotherapist, a teacher of Access Consciousness Right Voice. I'm going to find out what that is. She's helping people to speak their own thoughts without shame or judgments. Oh, I like that. The book is called Pragmatic Psychology, Practical Tools for Being Crazy Happy. Susanna Mittermaier, I'm okay with being crazy happy. Good morning, Susanna. How are you?
Good morning. I'm amazing. How are you guys?
I'm pretty good. Where are you calling from?
Today I'm in Germany.
You're in Germany?
Oh, wow.
That's on my bucket list, by the way. What city are you in?
Right now I'm in a very small city called Eltville. It's in the middle of Germany.
Oh, you said it with a German accent. Are you German?
I'm from Austria. Yes.
Oh, you are. Oh my gosh. Okay, my mother was born in Germany, which is why I want to go. I want to see the town. She was born in a town called Velbert. Have you ever heard of Velbert?
I have not. No.
Okay. See, this is a small town. Nobody knows this town. But anyway, so that'll make me happy to go there. So, are you crazy happy? Are you? Do you fight happiness? I mean, do you fight depression at all?
No, I'm one of those people who are actually really crazy happy. So crazy happy for me would be to be happier than is normal. That's what's crazy in this world, at least.
Okay. Well, so you are on the this is you on the cover. You look very happy. You should. I mean, is it okay to wear that dress in the ocean?
In Sweden, it is. It was a very cold ocean.
Oh, that was a cold ocean in Sweden. Oh my gosh, I'm just living vicariously through you right now. I want to see where you are. So what does the book help somebody who's not happy become happy, or what? What does the book do?
I have heard. So basically, I just wrote this because it was fun for me, and then it became a book. One of those things, you never know how it shows up in life. And I heard people become really happy. I mean, people have this in their offices. My hairdresser has it in her hairdressing office, whatever it's called in English. And people just open a book, like having a bad day, and then they find a tool or a different perspective to open up to more crazy happy.
Oh, really? Can you tell me one? Give me a tool. I want to see if I've used it accidentally or what? Give me an idea.
Okay, so one of my favorite tools is when you have a point of view. Like, one of the things that depress us the most is when we have a judgment about ourselves or a point of view. What we can't do, how bad we are, and all those things, or any doubt. So the things that weigh us down are usually points of view, and so we make them very real and think that's true, it must be true. And so one of the things that help me, and I heard most people, is to use the tool of saying to yourself, wow, okay, maybe let's say, I think I'm bad at whatever, blah, blah. And then you say, wow, interesting point of view. I have this point of view. And then you go again, okay, maybe that's just an interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view. And then when you do this a couple of times, you notice that the things you think about yourself that you make so real are actually just interesting points of view and not realities.
But what if it is true? I mean, Okay, so I don't know that would make me sad, but let's say, for example, I'm trying to build a house, okay, or a tool shed, not a whole house, but like a shed. Okay, I'm going to build a little building, okay, and I'm horrible. I start putting the wood together, and I step back and I look at it and I go, oh, that's so bad. Don't I have to be honest with myself and tear it down and start over again?
Well, maybe somebody else would think it's really pretty, you know.
Well, that guy needs glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, what makes us happy is we actually become aware of what works for us. That's why I call it pragmatic psychology. It's called, you know, pragmatic means doing what works for you. And
okay.
if you realize that, okay, so the way I built it didn't work, it actually doesn't look the way I want it to look, then you just change it. But you don't judge yourself for making something that wasn't pretty in the first place. You just go, oh, well, that was an interesting choice.
I guess so, yeah.
Just go for it again.
I found your observation interesting that people suffering from anxiety may be highly creative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Because I've noticed that. Because, you know, you have to be in high gear and you have to seem like you're going fast all the time.
Yeah, I know. So I love that thought because anxiety is one of those things, like any other diagnosis. You mentioned depression before. It's like one of those things that where people assume there must be something wrong. You know, in this world, it's so much about wrongness. Like, we look at the wrongness of all things and then we try to get it right. And it's really hard to get things right when you've already decided that there's something wrong. And anxiety is one of those things that, you know, we think there's absolutely a wrongness. And so what I've noticed, is there is a capacity behind these things that we think are so wrong, like anxiety has an amazing capacity.
I went to your Facebook page, by the way, and I'm typing you a note. Speaking to you right now. I'm typing on your thing. Right now, speaking to you right now. But I couldn't be your friend. It says you have the most maximum friends you can have. I hit add friend, and it says unable to add this friend. Susanna has reached the friend limit. I didn't know there was a friend limit.
Me neither. I just found out.
So do you have a second site?
Yeah, it's called Susanna Mittermaier as well. And it's called Pragmatic Psychology, actually.
Okay. I'll look it up.
You also say that people with anxiety make great entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How does that work?
So the thing with anxiety is that, anxiety is when usually it feels like increased heartbeat and sweating and short of breath. And it usually occurs in situations where you are around people, like that's a classic. And so the thing is, like, if you interpret those body symptoms as something wrong, you don't have a different choice than having resistance against it and trying to shut it down. And if you try to shut down anxiety, like anybody who's ever had anxiety, which actually most people have had at one point in their life, if you ever try to shut down anxiety, it is where it just gets worse, you know, and then usually it just bursts out into a panic attack. So one of the tools that, or different perspectives that I'd like to invite you is to not try to turn it down and not try to interpret anything about those body symptoms, but allow them. And like when you speak of entrepreneurs, like what I do also, I work with people who speak in public, and when you speak in public, most people get some kind of anxiety. You know, they're worried about doing something wrong, not finding the right thing to say. And like when we use those tools of access consciousness and pragmatic psychology and right voice for you, what gets created is that they can turn these symptoms into something that they can use in their presentations and their speeches, because those symptoms can add a vitality, like when your body gets in gear, like it can add a vitality to your speeches. Like it would be terrible. Imagine being on stage and just being calm and cool and, totally relaxed. It wouldn't add the spice to your presentation.
Right. You gotta be
Excited.
somewhat excited. Yeah.
And exciting to listen to.
That's the point.
And-
That's exactly the point, what you say. Mm-hmm.
And I think what you're saying works in that circumstance, but I wanted to compare it to something else, and I think we can probably all relate to this. Do you remember when you were a kid and your uncle, who you haven't seen in a long time, would come to the house, and your mother and your father, everybody's so happy, you just walked in and everybody, the dog is jumping up and down and everybody's happy, right? Mm-hmm. And then a few hours later, after you've had food and coffee cake, and your uncle says, I got to go out to the store and get something. Hey, would you like to come along? Now, it's you and your uncle, or you and your whoever. And this is the happiest time for me. The happiest time was, I get to spend time, but we're not jumping up and down. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? We don't. It don't look like camera took a picture. You wouldn't look as excited and as happy, but the truth is, you're really enjoying that moment. You know.
And that's so often, so many people are misapplying fear and excitement, or anxiety and excitement. And most kids are being told, like, when you have these excited moments, or you're playing on the, what's it called, playground, I think in English as well, and you swing or whatever, and then the mother goes, don't be afraid. And it's like at this moment, we start to interpret the body symptoms of, heartbeat increasing and short of breath and sweating. Like, that must be something dangerous. It's called anxiety. It's called fear. And that's where we start to interpret what the body tells us as being something wrong, when it actually isn't, when it actually is a possibility of having more vitality. Like, when you asked about the entrepreneurs, it's actually great to have that vitality in your body, in your life, so you can add that spice to your project as well. And there's more to that.
I like the fact that you encourage people to expand on themselves and also to talk to others, where you don't view anxiety as a disease and they need to have a cure for it.
Yes, that's what I love. Because, it's so much about, we try to look at things as a wrongness, right, and judge it and have a conclusion, rather than a strongness, rather than asking a question, with this anxiety, what is my body telling me here? What's the information my body is giving me? What am I aware of? Most people who have anxiety are so extremely aware of what's going on around them. Mm-hmm. They pick up so much information around them, and it's actually a great source of information, like for entrepreneurs. It's great if you're aware of what's going on. Like, if you have a business meeting and you can read between the lines of what's being said, you have so much information that gives you so much advantage.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Robin and I have played music for children in schools, and I wanted to tell you a real quick story. We had a group of children who were, I guess you would call them the rich kids. They were from good families. They all had nice clothing, and then we played a school for autistic children. And you mentioned autism in the book too. Mm-hmm. And these children have physical handicaps, mental handicaps. Some of them had like missing body parts and prosthetic devices, etc. And you know who was the happier of the two bunch? The two groups. It was those kids. They were the happiest.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't understand it, but they were. And I don't know, maybe they're more loved. Maybe people paid them more attention because of their special situation. I don't know.
Well, it is mostly like people with ADHD, autism, those kind of diagnoses. These people are less, they don't have the ability, or they don't make the choice of adapting to this world as much as we do. I mean, look at this world. It's not really a happy place. It's a lot about worry and anger and anxiety. And then if you grew up in this place, like first you started being happy as a kid, and then after a while you go, okay, maybe this is the way I need to be normal. And then you adapt to that. And people with autism, Asperger, ADHD, they don't do that as much. They are themselves. Yeah, they don't have that ability, or they don't make the choice of doing that. So they create their own world from the beginning. And unfortunately, it's still called a disability, but I see it as a really great ability. Because don't we all want to create our own reality beyond this reality, where you just be yourself, and you can be aware of the anxiety going on, but you don't you're not put down by it. You're not drawn down to it. You can still have that space of being you.
Do you think, in your opinion, that there are more people who have mental health issues here in the United States than other countries?
By looking at the numbers, yes, but looking at the practical examples, I think it's pretty much the same.
Oh, okay.
You know, you have an interesting part of the book where you're talking to a young woman and she was having sexual issues, and then you discover that she had been raped when she was younger, and you somehow were able to I guess, tune into her and figure out that she was harboring not hatred for him, but his hatred of women.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's pretty fascinating that you were able to figure that out. Mm-hmm. And by figuring it out, it helped her, didn't it?
Yes, and that's the amazing thing with asking questions. You know, when you look at just projecting points of view at people about what it should be, why they have problems, or what other theories tell you, you usually miss asking those questions that truly give you the information of what is going on and what was going on that created that particular thing. And then by seeing what's truly going on, you can actually change it. Just like it's like turning on the lights.
Susanna, I want to ask you something just based on what you just said there. Let's say that this woman never saw you and didn't have the solution to her problem from a professional, but instead, let's say the man in her life, the good man, not the guy who raped her, but the good guy, just loved her and took his time with her and was understanding, and he said, you know what, we can get through this, whatever it is. I'm not in a hurry. I want to love you for the rest of your life. Would that have eventually healed her, but maybe in a slower way than what you were able to do?
I really can't tell. Like it absolutely could be. I mean, totally. If like one of the things that hold us back to the past would only be the lies we tell ourselves. You know, like lies would be where you go and create everything that's like have the point of view of everything that's wrong about you, or you try to find a reason to why you're wrong, like, oh, I'm wrong and I can't have a great relationship, or I can't have a great sexual life because I had this and this going on in the past, or because I'm bad at this and that. It's like it's those of you that hold us back. Like once you clear them and once you get free of them, you can actually see yourself for what you truly be. You can actually access your capacities and your abilities. And then, of course, having people around you who have total allowance for you, who don't force you to change, that's always a great plus.
I like how you encourage the person to use their different points of view as opposed to just saying, okay, we're going to go get you some pills or some antidepressants, something like that. I think people run too quickly to the pill end of the world.
That's a very quick fix, and it might help, but it doesn't really change what's going on in the long run.
The book is called Pragmatic Psychology, Practical Tools for Being Crazy Happy. I have liked the Facebook page, and I have tried to friend Susanna Mittermaier, but she's got all of her friends. What is your title, MAG? What does that stand for, MAG?
Oh, that's a university degree in Europe. It's Magister, which is, I don't know.
Like a magistrate?
Yeah, I don't know what the equivalent would be in the States for university degrees.
Right. And the book is in many languages. I Googled it real quick because I wanted to put your picture on the streaming video we're doing, and I got a cover of the book. And it's in many languages, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Italian, German, English, Chinese, coming out in French as well, and Japanese is asking. So yeah, many languages.
and that's one of the hardest things that people have to do is stop being quiet and offer their own opinion or their own way to do things, because other people that they might feel other people will look at them and say, well, you don't know what you're talking about, you know, this can't be done this way, and then you know you get in this shell and you feel like you're in jail.
Yes, that's why I love asking people what they know about whatever going on in their lives, because you can go to experts, and most experts they know what they know, and projecting an answer on somebody else is one thing, but asking, what do you know about yourself? What feels light to you? That's usually a very great way to empower people, because in the long run, it's not about buying somebody else's answer about you. It's about finding out what's true for you.
So we have a program here in Florida for juvenile offenders, kids who have broken the law, and the program is a work program. They have to work. They have to plow the field. They have to build houses. They have to. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of labor, but not a forced to labor. But what happens from that is and I often have asked, why does this help? And the way I understand it is it helps not because you're doing work, but because you're accomplishing things and you're doing it as a team. I don't know if what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, and I love that, it sounds like they're not in the victim role of whatever happened to them, and now we have to suffer it. But okay, so what can we do to change this? And physical, using your body to do things can be a great gift to create your life, create your future.
How do you keep yourself so positive and focused in your world when you're helping people who are miserable in theirs?
So what I found out for myself personally is that happiness truly is a choice, and that this is something I have to choose today. I mean, I would have the choice to be to be miserable, to be sad, and to feel like others around me, but I also know I have the choice to not do that. And so this is what I choose to do every morning. And then what helps me a lot is that, seeing what changes in people, seeing that the glimpse in their eyes when they see that they have choice, when their past doesn't have to determine their future, that makes me so happy. So, yeah.
I think that all the time, too. But I always think I can only speak for myself. But I just love what you have said, the whole interview. Pragmatic Psychology, Practical Tools for Being Crazy Happy. If you want the book that I have, call me and I'll give it to you. The rest of us have to go buy it. I went to your Facebook page. You have a website, too, right? SusannaMittermaier.com?
Yeah, exactly.
And PragmaticPsychologyTheBook.com, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right. Well, how's the weather in Germany?
It's foggy and cold.
Uh-oh. Well, come to Florida. Why don't you come to Florida? Beautiful weather in Florida. Thank you, Susanna. We'll be right back.
This is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The U.S. Secretary of State and Homeland Security Secretary holding sit-downs with their counterparts in Mexico City, where thousands have taken against President Trump's immigration crackdown.
The Mexican Foreign Secretary responding to the Trump administration policy, saying the people of Mexico do not have to accept the measures unilaterally imposed on them by another government.
Fox's Rich Edson in Mexico City. The White House has said the relationship with Mexico is healthy. Fox News remembers Alan Combs, who died last night after a